Season 3 of Chefs and Deliciousness starts right now. Woo!
And here we are back in for an edition of Trey's Chow Down Live, and I've got Kevin. Kevin, good morning.
Good morning.
Good
morning.
That would have been funny. And Brian Zenner, right?
Zenner.
That's Zenner, right? Okay. I'm just going to use first names anyway. I like being more personal. You know that is.
Works for us.
All right, guys. Got some just some national events I want to talk about this year, and Weiss Foods. I'm sure you've heard of Weiss Foods. Everybody's heard of Weiss Foods. It's their 100th year in business, and they're in the $28 billion a year snack category, which is, to me, just is unbelievable. They sell 23 million bags of potato chips a month. Is that not unbelievable? 500 million a year, just of the corn chips and the potato chips combined. That is just fathomable to me. Do y'all know how the potato chip was invented? 18. You heard about this story?
No.
Over an argument, 1853, in a restaurant in upstate New York. A guy was mad about his French fries being too thick.
Yeah.
Took him back, and the chef said, all right, he was messing with him and made these real thin chips. And he went out, and that's how the potato chip was born. Isn't that crazy?
It is.
I always like to hear history stuff like that. Necessity. He was doing it out of joke, but he was doing it as necessity to try to make the customer happy. Even back then, trying to make the customers happy. Krispy Kreme, y'all know this. I'm sure you've heard the news. Krispy Kreme, if you get your shot records, you can go get a free donut. Don't buy just a donut. Buy some coffee. Buy something else. But go get you a free donut. February 2021, the sales figures have been down 40% because of the winter. 40% over last year's COVID response is down because of that the winter we had.
Yeah.
Per restaurant association numbers that they did. And then 30% of that over last year. It just this whole deal just blows my mind. Of course, you know what kind of problems everybody's had.
I mean, in our business, it was even beyond what most people saw, how difficult it was to get food deliveries. So we were still, busy, and we were still kind of being a place where people could at least, get some electricity and get some heat. But we had to keep changing our menu almost every day with, what do we still have? And we're trying to do whatever we could to get suppliers. So it was, it was something where we had to get real creative.
I told everybody when this thing started, because me being used to be in restaurants for so long, that I figured that people who were going to be able to pivot and make instantaneous change were going to be okay. Ones that are just going to give up are just going to die. Because
sure.
Some people had it so easy for so long. You order this product comes in, this is what you do every day, kind of a monotonous type running a restaurant. And the ones that got creative and would pivot and make some changes are the ones who came out even stronger.
We even made some supplier changes, I think, with it. We had some guys that, finally just loaded stuff into their personal pickup trucks and came and delivered it. They're like, yeah, maybe our vans aren't doing the whole thing, but I can get you some stuff. I'm like, great, because we got people and they want food, and our walk-in's pretty empty. So I think we had to take the chicken sandwich off the menu Monday, and then Tuesday was the burger, and so on. We're like, all right, we got no more of this, we got no more of that.
But you made it.
We did.
Now, y'all know Emily Knight, Texas Restaurant Association CEO. She's moving to the National Restaurant Association, and she is going to be their national calibration officer, whatever that is. I've made a title for, but she's moving over there, and I'm excited to see her. I've had her on the show, and she was really fantastic. Enjoyed her. That's the big news of today. So we're going to get with Kevin and Brian. So I want to start off with you, Kevin. Tell us a little bit about yourself, where you're from, and kind of how you got started in this business.
Born and raised in New York. Actually, first gig in the business was as a for a man who's rather slight of build, was actually as a doorman.
Really?
Yeah. I was in martial arts. My whole life, and I in college started working as a doorman. I wasn't old enough to be a bartender. Didn't have any training to do anything inside, but all I knew how to do, I guess, was fight. So I ended up at the door.
You know what? You can learn a lot by being a doorman, though.
You're
talking
not kidding.
to people, seeing stuff, you get the outside perspective of what goes on in a bar or a restaurant. Yeah.
And I think, for sure, it's you're kind of making the recipe of what's going to go on inside.
Yeah.
What's the, because I think having a successful venue sometimes is having the right blend of people to kind of make that to make the cocktail, so to speak.
Sure.
So that was the start for me. And then I was in the event business for about 10 years with a company called Friday Night Fights. And we would go into these, armories, and we would go into, basements at churches, and we would set up the room for 5,000-6,000 people, and then would tear it down. And it was something like, we did about 200 shows. I did about 200 shows with them, and it was something that taught you a lot about space. People in event business are pretty forgiving, I would say. It's not like they don't have the expectations of someone coming into a fine dining restaurant for sure. But it was still pretty obvious. You make some design decisions, and then 5,000 people roll into the room, and you realize you really botched this up and really botched that up, and it's pretty obvious to you pretty quickly. So,
and I guess it'd be hard to make changes because if you change your venue all the time, it'd be hard to. You can't really pre-plan anything.
We did a lot of those armories where the National Guard would give it to us for 24 hours, and we have to have it broom swept back to them at the end of the day. So it was basically like a mini launching of a restaurant. But I think it taught me a lot about space. And then I was head of real estate for the largest private owner of hotels in New York in 2008. I was really in the real estate business was my primary business. And in the recession, we weren't buying or selling anything anymore. We were just trying not to lose our shirts.
Maintain, yeah.
So, but what happened is, we were a boutique hotel company, and all of our restaurant spaces were going dark. The restaurants couldn't hang on. So instead of, what was my primary business, I became the head of food and beverage, and the rest is kind of history.
Wow. And now here we are.
Now here we are.
And Brian, your history is just as great too. I know I enjoyed reading about your stuff. So tell us kind of where you're from and how you got started in the business.
Yeah, I've been cooking for about 20 years. I started in Austin, went to culinary school in Austin right around 2002 or so, and cooked there for a while. Moved to Portland with my wife when we got married. Hung out there, enjoyed the outdoors, and then been in Dallas as a chef for about the last 11 years now. Born overseas, lived overseas when I was really young. Grew up mostly in Houston, Texas. Big Houston fan for Dallas people,
I don't know if I'd want to be in Portland right now. Now I know sometimes the news blows stuff up. It may be a small area, but anywhere they've had lots of trouble in the last 6 months or 8 months, it'd be.
Yeah, you're not kidding.
Yeah,
it's worth it for the outdoors.
Yeah, it is.
The outdoors in Oregon are mind blowing.
Yeah, my ex-wife daughter lived in Walla Walla, Washington, so I'd either have to go through Portland or Seattle. So I know there was an area up there that's absolutely beautiful.
Yep.
Just different. It's amazing how you change when you change geographical areas, the way people are and the way they eat and the way their habits.
Absolutely,
it's unusual.
For sure.
Yeah,
for sure.
Okay, so let's talk about what you got going on in Dallas. Besides, you have some other stuff in Dallas. You've got. We'll talk about Ounce in a minute. You have the new steakhouse. Ounce. Is it classified as a steakhouse?
No.
Okay, what is it? What would you classify it as?
Texas Brasserie?
Maybe. They like to classify these things. I don't like to as much.
Well, because someone's going to, and very back to the show, 10, 20, 30, 50 people ask me, hey, what is Ounce? And I got to say, well, what classification do you give it?
I would say Mediterranean-inspired dishes with Texas ingredients.
Okay, that's cool. That's a good one. That'd be good. Something good to print.
Yeah.
He wants Texas Brasserie. I guess. What's a brasserie?
Hey, it sounds sexy. Texas
right,
Brasserie
right.
sounds
That's
sexy.
right. That's right.
You could it could be kind of anything in your mind, right?
And we like the flexibility that changing menus seasonally, and we don't want to be locked into a thing. And, it is an interesting offering because there are two food offerings up there. So having them really play off each other.
Yeah, let's talk about that because that was unusual when you were talking about. First of all, how did the name Ounce come about? Because I know we talked about it there, but we didn't finish the story.
It started as a steakhouse, and then we pivoted. I thought we could execute better given what we had to work with there. Right. I didn't think we could really do. It's a big venue to cover that we could really successfully do a steakhouse of the caliber that we wanted to do. We didn't want to be worse than Albernays. We want to be at least that or better. Yeah. So if we couldn't accomplish that, I thought we could make people happy doing this other thing. We're up there with Peja Kristich, who does Ichi Nisan, which is a Japanese-inspired restaurant. So we're a real good juxtaposition to what they offer, a compliment.
I love the name Ounce because there has been one called that. I just like the name because that name can mean a lot of things.
Yeah,
but it just sounds good.
Thank you.
Yeah, it doesn't like it. But how did you come up? How did you derive the name Ounce? I mean, how did the actual name?
When we started about the concept, when we started talking about the concept, it was we were pretty in deep to a steak by the ounce concept.
Okay.
And that was the name we decided on. I think somebody we talked about earlier before was John Tsar. Knife's a great name too. I think ounce kind of evokes the same sort of idea.
Yeah.
But I think it's also it can work with any concept. I don't think it had to be a steakhouse.
Yeah. Cool.
And I think we did make some adjustments to the menu because of what this year has been. And I think we're going to, continue to make more adjustments based on where we are and how, the guests that we have coming in are going to change so much.
Sure. Now, where is it located? Let's talk about that. I know I've read the deal, but when you tell everybody's listening on how it's located.
So we're in downtown Dallas at AT&T's world headquarters. So they have a 6-7 building complex there. Our liquor license for the district, it's the AT&T Discovery District. Our liquor license extends across the whole district. So it extends from Wood Street over to Commerce Street. And then it's as far south as Field. And then extends on the north side, kind of to the end of that. It's really not a public street. It's really where that Starbucks is and where that kind of pass through is. So it's kind of it's a district. The liquor license is the whole district, but this year obviously they really haven't been in session.
Right. Yeah.
For over a year.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I do like the idea of being able to carry alcohol anywhere you go, and
for sure.
We didn't fit, but that's to me that was one of the biggest problems we had in the stockyards here, because you could only you couldn't if you were on this side of the street you couldn't take drinks out, but if you're on this side of the street you could take a drink out, and if you walked past Main and this corner of Main you couldn't. It was illegal. That just is wrong. I think being able to buy your drink and walk all over the place is fantastic for people.
And it had us, and that was I think another thing that played into kind of the thinking with Ounce. We don't want to, we really want to have people be able to go to the district and get whatever they want. So we wanted to make sure we were checking all the boxes off so that whatever the experience was that someone was looking for. Because when we do open up the rest of the food hall, in total, it's going to end up being 17 food offerings and two bars. And then we have Jackson, Texas Kitchen across the street.
Hang on, back up. We're 17 offerings.
Yes, sir.
Depending from, it's going to be all over the board. It can be pretty versatile.
Well, yeah, it was all curated in the sense of we always start with the concept first and then back into who's the right chef to carry it out. But in simplest terms, if you had two fantastic Mexican offerings, you wouldn't have both of them.
Right.
So it's again making sure that we're just if you want it, we got it, kind of thing. So that was a big part with Ounce and Ichinisan and Hard Shake is our cocktail lounge up there.
Hard Shake, that's a cool name too. That's a great name. I like that.
So Hard Shake's the cocktail lounge, and then on the lower level, we just opened up Double Tap. So it's Double Tap cool. And Hard Shake, and really those names are very much of what they are, because Hard Shake is really that cocktail space where your mixologist is going to take some time and compose the cocktail, whereas Double Tap is the opposite. Double Tap is cocktails on draft, wine on draft, beers on draft.
Cocktails on draft?
Yes, sir.
Everything's on draft.
Everything's on draft.
That's fantastic. Anytime someone says Double Tap, I always think about crazy Woody Harrelson in that damn zombie movie with that double barrel shotgun going. I always give him a double tap, bam, bam. That's why, even though it's 20 years ago, that's why I never have forgot that.
Yeah.
But a cocktail, so everything's going to be pre-mixed. You just come in and does the hostess do that for you, or does the individual do that on the draft?
No, so our bartenders do it,
okay.
But we had it because with the way the liquor license works, none of the food offerings can sell alcohol, so it needs to be able to have the one liquor license provider, which is
why
us.
would they do that? Well, I don't understand that.
I think if a TABC officer walked in and someone had a drink in their hand and had too much, or was swimming in a fountain, they want to be able to know.
No, I want to know why they didn't let the food places sell the alcohol. Why you have to?
Well, that's what I'm saying, because it's if that person is overserved, they want to know
Oh, okay.
who's responsible.
Okay.
So, and that would be me.
Okay.
So if there's someone going out in cuffs, there's no doubt everyone
Okay.
just points my way.
Oh, I got you. Okay, I see what you're saying. They're trying to control. Okay, I got it.
Yeah, who's buying, who's doing security, who should have been checking that ID. They want to lock it down. So that's why, for our sense, if the lobster roll operator wants to have some beer from Maine that really goes with his stuff, or the Mexican operator really wants something that goes well with his menu, that would be just fine with us. It's just not allowed based on the liquor license. So that was one of the big thinkings with the downstairs bar. If you already waited in line to get your burger, we don't now want you to. So we're,
Yeah. Well, you're going to be able to
Rip
get
it.
you can get cocktails at ounce too, correct?
Upstairs, it's hard shake.
Okay.
Hard shake.
Oh,
the bar.
that is hard shake. Okay,
So
okay.
all alcohol, wine, cocktails, beer, all of that would go through them.
I'm kind of flying blind here because normally I've seen a concept,
Yeah.
and when I read everything, I thought this sounds really cool, and I haven't been here yet, so I'm trying to now I'm getting the concept. Okay.
So it's the second floor. So it's, to the guest, it's one menu. You're going to have one check, but the food is coming from two separate kitchens, and the drink menu, which is tailored to both ounce and Ichi-Nissan, which stands for 1, 2, 3 in Japanese.
That was my next question.
Yeah. So you can mix and match. You can have hamachi starter and then have a ribeye. You can you can sit in any of the spaces and order from just one menu, a blend of both. So and then it's just one check, and we whack it up on the merchant services side at the end of the week.
That is neat.
But upstairs is like a seated sit down.
Yes.
Okay.
More of a not quite, maybe fine dining, casual fine dining, and then downstairs, elevated fine dining is the term.
Here he goes. This is we got a marketer and a chef.
That's right. And then downstairs, straight food hall, like
Yeah.
counter service.
Yeah.
And so you can go get your drinks at the bar, and then walk around with your beer, and go try a burger, go try a taco, and some dumplings, and then
It's
go
kind
walk
of
around.
it's kind of a
the
neat
district.
concept.
Yeah.
Now I know before the pandemic you would have had a whole lot more traffic. Do you think
sure.
that traffic's going to come back now in time
Yes.
for what? Okay.
We think the way dining trends are changing. People love the visibility of the food hall. They love the transparency of it.
They do. You're right.
That they're completely connected to their food. They watch the people, make their food right in front of them. They get to, select it their way. People really like that. I think with the pandemic, they like it
Especially
even
now more than ever, right?
Exactly right.
Yeah.
The closed kitchens, your finished composed deal comes out through some swinging doors and you didn't see it get put together. I think those days might be behind us.
I've always been a big opponent. If you read any of my biographies, I've always been a big opponent of open kitchens. I mean,
Yeah.
way back when, open kitchens and what I
Sure.
call street side dining. I feel like there's some restaurants now that people have done where they open up the whole doors and you can go the restaurant in and restaurant out type deal. I love that concept. Fresh air,
Yeah.
being able to see everybody, everything, especially now as crazy as people are. I don't want to be where I can't see what's going on. And I just like to know what's happening.
And I think it changed. I mean, I think there's kind of a unique trends going on in general, in the sense of with the creation of Food Network and all these cooking shows, people are so much more
Visual.
aware. Yeah,
Visual.
They're so much more aware of what's going into their meal and much more health conscious. But on the other side, which is pretty crazy, that people are cooking less.
Yeah.
So they're very aware of, what kind of peppers are those? And yet not cooking them. It's
Right.
like for friends of ours on the real estate side of things, they're like, yeah, the kitchens in our apartments, we're actually building them smaller and smaller. Like your refrigerator is just really keeping your takeout, cool.
Yeah, but what's funny is that they're building these big old kitchens in the homes.
Yeah.
These beautiful kitchens, and no one's using them.
Yeah.
I mean, they don't use them. So yeah.
Exactly right.
And you're in the restaurant. So how is it laid out? You have the two restaurants and then the kitchens in the middle, or are the kitchens separated for yours?
So two separate kitchens.
Okay.
So it kept the design of a food hall where there's still two stalls that are the kitchens. They're a little more elevated in their design than downstairs. So there's two separate kitchens, and we get tickets for each, and then food comes together at the table depending on how the guest ordered.
Yeah, some shared back of house. The space is generally long and longer and thinner, I would say. So it's kind of a rectangular
Shotgun,
space.
maybe?
Yeah, it's and we have both the venting of both kind of against that back wall, so they're both facing out towards the glass because it's would almost say 3 sides of glass, but for sure that whole one side of glass, they're both facing out towards the district.
So can I let's just talk a little bit about what's on your menu, kind of in general. What's on your menu? What's your menu like?
It's a pretty small menu, like 15 items, 16 items now.
That's
I think.
awesome.
Well, it helps us change.
My dad loved that theory. He hated big menus.
Yeah.
He just couldn't stand
I
them.
don't know many chefs that love big menus.
You can't facilitate them all properly, and not all that stuff goes bad. You just anyway.
That's right.
Yeah.
Would rather have less things and do them really well than have more things of. Yeah, no one's ordered that in 8 days. Let's see how that it looks in the walk-in.
Trash. So the menu?
So pretty limited menu. Lamb tartare, beet salad. I mean, kind of all the standards. We got a burger and fries that sells like crazy. Steak frites, French onion soup.
Steak frites is becoming very popular.
It's very popular. It's a lot of classics. A lot of like twists on classics with like some Mediterranean flavors. Yeah,
that's awesome.
Octopus.
And you got
gnocchi,
your lamb special.
the lamb chops now, like with charred eggplant, tahina, kale, and then they're rolled in za'atar.
Lots of deliciousness going on there.
Yeah.
And so what about so is that an actual sushi restaurant?
Ichi-Nisan.
Ichi-Nisan. I'll butcher that name 50 times before I get it right. But it's a sushi restaurant type deal?
It is. It's sushi with, I think, there are some composed dishes that Paige's training, I think, is generally on the French side, and some of the things he likes to do. So he does kind of have his straight sushi offerings, and then he has composed dishes and specials that he changes up frequently. And a lot of those aren't in a. It's definitely not in a pure sushi offering kind of thing.
They're reminiscent of his other restaurant, Mat Hai Ba.
Yes.
Yeah.
Agreed.
The way he approaches Vietnamese food at Mat Hai Ba is similar to how I think he approaches the Japanese food at Ichi-Nisan.
We were talking about the menus just now, and I think that also too that Food Network Cooking Channel and all these social media, especially social media, has been a big driver too of people changing their menus all the time, having different dishes, different colors, different offerings, because people expect that now. Especially, I think people watch all the food shows like Chopped and I don't know how that show's ran this long, but it has. And everybody wants to try something different, or they think they do. So it's good to be able to change, and if you have a small menu, you can change out more often, I would think.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I think with Paige's concept, they're flying fish in every day to DFW Airport and breaking it down. So that's one of the reasons that menu is also changing so frequently, as the seasonality of the fish and the availability of the fish changes. So as opposed to Brian's menu that's being more red meat, lamb, kind of, the consistency of the supply is easier than, what fish do we have right now coming in? So I think that's where a lot of times the Ichi-Nisan menu is more fluid.
Boy, has that market not changed too in the last 10 years? The fish market used to 20 years ago.
Yeah.
If you were driving around somewhere and someone said, "Oh, I got a fresh fish in the menu," no, you don't. It's frozen and brought in. Nowadays, you can't get it much fresher. They most time they take it from the dock to the overnight, or they pick it up there and they ship it and it's here. It's just phenomenal.
Yeah.
So his other restaurant is what?
Mat Hai Ba.
I think I've been there. Yeah.
Little tiny place over there. I think it's the old York Street spot with where Sharon was. And then he had a spot in Victory Park that he's put on temporary hold due to COVID.
COVID.
Yeah.
So you were the one that helped or created the food park in Fort Worth, correct?
That's correct.
Crockett Row.
I did.
And I still think it's a great place. They've made some changes. I think for me, the one in Plano is good too. I think people been able to see the whole thing when they come in, the whole offer, instead of having to walk all over the place and try to find somebody being real big. I think it's laid out right, and I think it's coming back around now. They've got some. I think actually when I talked to the guy, I think one guy owns 4 or 5 or 6 of the restaurants in there now.
That's correct.
Is that right? Okay.
That's correct.
So, yeah.
So there. I mean, it's going to be the same as our project in Dallas, where the line of sight's really key. For especially for those, for that approachable price point, your guest is going to figure out what they want within 5-6 seconds. So they need to really see what that is. So that's we're very so we're the master operator of the food hall in downtown Dallas, but and we allow or encourage each of the operators to really express their brand. Have your art, have your menu. As long as it can come out with a quick ticket time, great. But the only things that we are very strict about is preserving that line of sight.
Yeah.
Like don't pile up, buns and now you're blocking the guy behind you. So it's
I think it's amazing how, or the big difference for me from other food halls I've been to is how these are all individual stalls. They're custom built. They're not just cubicles where you make food in. They all have their own personality, different equipment, different layouts, different tiles, different signs. It is
so it looks like each individual little like a street food thing. If you were walking around, it'd be individual little deals.
Yeah, you would never know they were all built at the same time by the same person, the same designer. You would think each one really came in, organically created their space. It really is gorgeous.
And it's something that, that's kind of what a food hall is, I would say, in the sense of, on the no control level would be your flea market kind of street food. And on the too much control is where you kind of have that airport feel where you're like, okay.
I was just thinking that. Yeah.
That's exactly
You have 10 operators, but it's really one person who's running all of them.
Run the alley right behind the place, running back and forth.
Yeah. That's right. Like, now I got to change my shirt. I was doing the burger place. Now I'm doing the Mexican place. So it's here, we're really kind of right in the middle where, it's their brand, it's their space. Everyone behind the counter is their, is their staff and it's their bank account.
Now, is a lot of there, is this their only space or is this subsequent to something else they're doing somewhere else?
It's almost always subsequent.
Okay.
And that's one of the benefits of the food hall for operators, that it really helps them better utilize the infrastructure they already have.
Their brand,
yeah. And they already have a team, so it's really it's all Dallas brands in the food hall. The exception, and you brought up Chopped, is we have a partnership with Amanda Freitag. So Rise in Time with Amanda Freitag. Her and I have been close friends for a very long time. So we opened up that space together.
And what's it going to be called?
Rise and Time.
Rise and Time.
So THYME, like the spice.
I figured that's what it meant.
Brian's been working locally, kind of overseeing the menu. He's our head of culinary for the whole district. But yeah, we open up that in late fall as well.
Now, is she doing the recipes? Is Amanda doing the recipes, or how does it work for her place?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Big coffee program, pastries from a local bakery. Amanda and I work through all the menu. We now have Chef Patrick Byerly there, who's done an amazing job.
Yeah.
Maddie Rudd runs the coffee program, and it's really picked up since this last kind of month or so. Just the people returning downtown. Can't wait to get the employees back and really see what it can do.
Yeah. Well, people are just like we talk about going to Orlando. I mean, people are ready to get out, bust at the seams, and go do something.
Yep.
No kidding.
It's just unbelievable. So when will it be open fully, you think? How long are y'all going to open it up in stages, or how are you going to, when are you going to open the food hall?
So right now, we have the first 5 concepts open.
Okay.
Which is, Rise in Time and Double Tap on the first floor. And then the second floor experience, which is, which is Ounce, Itchin Nissan, and Hard Shake. So the first 5 have been open. We just opened up Hard Shake for the first time about 10 days ago. I'm sorry, we Double Tap for the first time about 10 days ago. The second floor experience is really cohesive, so it was one that we knew we had to open up. That it was kind of all or nothing. You couldn't do one without the other.
Let me ask you a question. Do you think do you think like Double Tap? Do you think that do people drink? I know they drink beer, but do people drink hardline cocktails all day long?
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, even at no doubt.
You're not bars at 11 o'clock in the morning. Absolutely.
Yeah, well, you know what I mean.
On weekends?
That's what I was going to say. Saturday and Sunday. I was thinking about during the week, Monday through Friday type deal. Downtown. That's what I was thinking about.
I mean, it's funny, like in Jackson, it's Texas Kitchen Beer Garden. So even though it's a beer garden, we probably sell, twice as much liquor as we do beer, if not 3 times. And our number one seller is our ranch water.
Yeah.
So it's I think part of that is about 60% of our guests are female. So I don't know if it's a calorie thing or a taste thing, but we sell a lot of ranch water.
I had her on my show, the one who created the ranch water in a can. It's about flavor, I'm sure. Yeah.
I mean, it's these seltzers; they're everywhere.
Yeah. I mean, it's just a topo and a shot of silver tequila.
I'm a vodka and a whiskey guy, so
Yeah.
me too. Yeah. But I don't drink all day unless it's on Saturday or Sunday. I got to work
Usually
too much.
me too.
Yeah, usually you
me
do.
too.
I guess unless I had a bad day.
That's right.
Yeah.
Or a good day.
Or a good day. Yeah,
Right,
either one.
celebrate.
Yeah, I guess that's true too. So what kind of you have full steaks? You have dried steaks there, obviously.
We have dry aged steaks we run as a special. We do Colorado lamb. We do a lot of Texas Wagyu. We have Strub Ranch in the meat locker right now. We have Beeman Ranch we use a lot. They're on the menu.
Do you switch those out? Are you switching to different varieties of meats or?
Beeman is usually what we use for our steak free. We use the Beeman Ranch culotte, and then for the dry age we've been offering Beeman, Strub, and the other one escapes me right now. It is.
You'll think of it, man.
I'll think of it.
Yeah, it happens to me all the time.
A-bar
A-bar-N.
in.
Oh yeah,
Ranch.
I know their stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, those are the three we usually use for like prime Texas Wagyu.
Boy, the meat market's really come on strong. I say the last decade, to me, the last decade, I've just seen everything sell from the fish market to the steak market to the small steak provider to the small fish provider. You know, it's just been crazy.
Yeah, my 10 years in Dallas has watched it just explode. Texas and the high-end market where prime commodity beef was really all you could get.
Yeah.
And now you have so many options in Texas.
Yeah. And I'm doing my story. I've been doing for the last 5 years the best barbecue in Texas, and every year it's just gotten bigger and bigger and more work and more work. But I've just watched this thing just explode with the meats and the sides and it's just crazy.
It's like Texas jazz and food.
Man, yeah.
Like the brisket is a thing.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
I think it's funny here that, I think in a lot of other markets in the country, you're, as a restaurant, you're competing against other restaurants.
Yeah.
I think especially in the North Texas, I've seen, to a large extent, you're competing with people's backyards.
Yeah, yeah.
And
Yeah.
people that are award-winning pit masters are like celebrities here. And I think, that's a big part of the source of that appetite for so many different meat offerings and different purveyors.
I love that it's wholly Texas. Like, you go to other parts of the country and you'll see a restaurant labeled like Texas barbecue.
Yeah.
Like that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's still, I travel a lot, and you cannot, man, the barbecue here, barbecue in the
awful everywhere.
Yeah, after you've been, and especially the camaraderie now here. It's just things you can get from, like, have you been to New Oaks yet in Dallas?
Nope.
Oh my gosh, you got to go there. Chef Michael Lane's place. It's a full barbecue restaurant. He has a pastry chef, award-winning pastry chef. They do award-winning pastries. He's got somebody doing these biscuits, and then he's got a salad. He's got a full salad chef that does custom salads. So if you want to take people there and you want somebody who only wants a salad, you get a salad station. There's a huge barbecue station. It is phenomenal, phenomenal.
It's on Greenville?
Yeah, yeah. It's where the original Fridays was, I think. The original Fridays, but you got to go. Full cocktail craze. He's got a cocktail mixologist there. It's phenomenal. Now, I've had it on the show, and I've been over there twice. It's really neat. Cool. But it's just the barbecue people are doing more and more and more. Yeah. So it's a big deal. Hey, you said something at the early beginning of the show about boutique hotels. Mm-hmm. They're making a comeback now. Where did the boutique hotel come from? Do you know where the inception of that?
It really was Europe.
Okay.
It really was Europe that didn't have the branded, and I think it started as, it was, I think in a lot of ways, properties that didn't start as hotels that they,
made
kind of
hotels.
I think it's kind of that a big bed and breakfast, so to speak,
Still
kind of
there,
became
all
that,
of them
like,
still there today. Yeah.
We'll make that a 20-room hotel, but because the rooms are now different sizes, it's not like you have brand standards. And I think a big part of the European approach to it, which is now really become the American approach to it, is the focus really on the common spaces. That you're really going to spend your time in your room just to sleep and shower, but it's really that great restaurant space. It's really that great lobby. It's really that great rooftop that you're coming here for. So it's less and less focus on the rooms. The rooms get smaller and smaller. great bed, great shower, and that's about it. And
How long's the San Jose hotel been in Austin?
Yeah, a long
I
time.
mean, that one,
Yeah.
that was like an original boutique
Yeah,
hotel
yeah.
that I ever saw. Really was, was
Yeah.
very different.
Yeah.
And the rooms were very different. Yeah,
It's kind of like going to Nala. It's like you're not going to be in the room unless you're passed out.
Right.
So
Yeah.
that's why all the rooms, most hotels there in French Quarter, they're all tiny because first of all they're older buildings, but second of all you're not in the rooms very much anyway.
And there's those people that that love the branded hotels. There's those Marriott guys that they for sure love that, whether they're in Tokyo or Oklahoma City or Denver, that they can wake up in the middle of the night and go to the bathroom and not stub their toe. Don't even got to turn the lights on. Right?
That's funny. But they did a study recently, not recently, last year and before the pandemic, and they were talking about how the up and coming millennials and even 40 or 50-year-olds, they are spending their more money now on going out, traveling and going out, which was
For sure.
And the younger generation real bad about it. Rather travel, get an RV or just go visit places, go visit restaurants and beaches and whatever. So I'd say being outside a lot more.
Yeah, I mean, the demographics generally are shifting. I mean, I think a lot of the ways we think about it in general is just the fact that as a population, how much older we've gotten.
Sure.
And the fact that, in the last 30 years, I think we've added about 7-8 years of lifespan. And that really starts showing itself, particularly in that demographic you just brought up, where, most of the life milestones are otherwise unchanged of, you still start school at this date, you still graduate at that date. But it's really that period of pre-retirement with, kids elder or out of the house, that now those 8 years are a whole new group than really was decades before, going out, eating, drinking, spending, traveling, wearing, bikinis on the beach with ranch waters and all that.
I'll tell you what's funny is that we sold out in 2005. Our family sold a restaurant in 2005. But up until that point, you could open up a restaurant and you go to that restaurant knowing that we're going to have the same thing every day,
For sure.
all the time, whether it was fast food or 5-star, they didn't change their menus. And nowadays, if you don't make those changes, people won't come back and visit you. They're getting more accustomed to that. What do you think another big change is going to be the next year or two in the restaurant business, in your opinion?
Great question. I think I don't know if it's 1 or 2 years, but I think the move to counter service, the move to fine dining counter service, like that sort of where you can do smaller scale as far as your operations, but also deliver the same caliber of food. I think things are moving in that direction. I think other parts of the world do it way better and smarter in some ways, and that classical fine dining is going to be much more of a niche than it ever was.
Yeah. I think I agree with you on that. I think my friend, Marcus Paisley over there that owns Clay Pigeon.
Great guy.
3 concepts now. Great fan. His new is phenomenal. We were having a dinner one night. And we were just talking. Actually, I did a show with him. We were talking. I did a show at his restaurant where I rode a horse up. It was a great show. But we were talking during that show, and we spent all day together. And I said, "What's your biggest?" He said, "What's your biggest change you think?" He said, "I'll tell you the biggest change." He said, "Nowadays, and for here more, it's the guy wearing the white T-shirt with the jeans with the old scuffy boots. It's the millionaire, and it's the one the ones you're not going to be able to spot anymore." He said, "People are getting more and more casual, and a lot less high dollar fine dining." So they'll spend the money for the steak, but they don't want to go to the fine dining place to get it. If that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Pretty unusual, but that's the way the world's going now.
And I think we have some new technology that we're doing at the food hall. It's going to be the first of its kind in the country. That we have temperature controlled boxes, and people can order off an app, and it goes to each of the different food offerings. Our runner then picks it up and loads the boxes. So you can be sitting on the lawn watching the movie on this 8-story 6K screen. Just order for your family. It's ready. Go in, swipe it, and the burgers are hot and the ice cream's cold, and it just comes out of the boxes. And that's something that we really created that because
you say comes out of the boxes.
Yep.
This is like something you'd see on Star Wars back in the day.
It's like an airport locker. You
Yeah.
walk
Yeah.
up, you'll get the code, punch it in, and then you go grab your burgers, your slice of pizza, whatever.
Yeah, or just like
It's,
scan
and
your
it's
phone.
there for you, and you just pick
Correct.
it up, take it. Wow.
So as opposed to ordering, waiting in line for your food to be ready, you can just order it right there, and then it lets you know when it's done. You go scan the code and the different boxes associated with
If you're working at AT&T, put your order in 11:15, go pick it up at 11:35, and walk back to your office.
And again, that's exactly right. Whereas for us, that's the reason that we did it. And it's taken about 3 years to really figure it out on the technology and on the point of sale side, because people have done this concept with one operator.
Yeah.
It's much harder when you have 15 different bank accounts,
Right.
and how do you sort all that out? And it's not like just the runner from the fried chicken place is running it. So you have the runner who's picking up from the 5 different operators to load in the associated lockers.
Okay, so they make it, and then one runner comes and picks it up and
Correct.
just takes it. When you say run, you think it's somebody running with it, but that's not what they do. But they take it and they put it inside a box, and then the people come and get it.
Exactly right.
And it stays sealed,
Correct.
which is a neat deal.
And then they can put it in multiple boxes if some things should be cold and some things should be hot.
And so in that box, particular box stays temperature controlled. Was
Correct.
it be a computer or Wi-Fi? How does that work? Like, how does it stay? Is the box stationary? They load it in the box.
They load it in the box.
Okay.
They go in the
got
back
you.
of the box, load it in, and they dial it to what the
Like a
temperature-
PO
that's
box.
right.
Okay,
Yep.
I got you. Okay,
Exactly
got
right.
you. Okay.
So that's going to be, I think, something
like a
that
PO box.
we think that technology is going to massively change. I think for regular guests, but the other way that we're seeing this is it's going to start, I think, affecting office parks. It's going to start affecting casinos, because it's something that we're candidly working on a casino deal right now where they kind of have a cafeteria for their employees, and it's a typical kind of cafeteria offering. And it's a massive expense to the operator of the casino to provide this. For them, they're now like, we would rather subsidize food hall operators that load it in these boxes, and instead of having a big cafeteria line, you just have these boxes and order whatever you want, and that's a much, that's a much lower expense for them to provide food for all their employees with the full selection of the menu.
I was just going to say, and the employees get a bigger choice.
Exactly right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
With a more fresh choice, I would assume.
Exactly
than
right.
Cafeteria food.
Exactly right. So for them, they're like, the employees are going to be much happier with the whole situation, and for them as a casino operator, they're like, and this is going to cost us a heck of a lot less money to operate.
A lot less stress because it's on
Yeah.
other people. So, what do you think the biggest change is going to be in let's just say in Dallas let's just say United States for the future of dining restaurants?
So my feelings on this are pretty bold. We've been watching Jackson for the last year, obviously, and we opened up in a pandemic in a construction site to becoming one of the consistent top sellers in the state. And I think the massive reason for that is our outdoor space. Three quarters of our space is outdoors, but I've been watching that and realizing how much people need to interact with each other.
Yeah.
So I think
most definitely.
as the trend, because we do work with a lot of major corporations on the office side, I think as the trend becomes people working more from home, and especially that's going to be the junior people. That's going to be the younger people that are going to be allowed to work remotely or encouraged to work remotely, or not going to have any kind of reserved office setup. So they're people that, just by demographics are going to be less likely to have families, so less likely to have that nightly interaction with people, under the same roof. So as a result, you're going to have a lot of single people that haven't really interacted with anyone else, as they're coming to the end of the day. So once you have that, it really sets the stage for, I think, an explosion in our business of people that don't only want to connect, but need to connect. They don't have that social cup of coffee anymore. They don't have that, team lunch anymore. They are going out, and not only are they going out, they're going out loud.
Yeah.
So I think it's going to have a big impact on live music. I think it's going to have a huge impact on fashion. I mean, people want to be seen. People need to have that interaction with each other. I mean, I think in the the funniest sense of Tom Hanks talking to that volleyball for for 45 minutes.
Yeah. What was that ball's name? Do you remember?
Wilson.
That's right.
That
Yeah,
was
Wilson.
Yeah.
I don't know how I forgot that's written across the dead gum ball. Yeah, Wilson.
And I think Wilson won an Academy Award for that.
Yeah. That had.
No.
You know what? That had to be Tom. He's a great actor. That had to be tough sitting there doing a whole movie with a ball. I mean, that's just.
But it's like that's who we are
Yeah.
as people. Like once you get past food, shelter, water. I mean, that's why solitary confinement is so cruel. It's like people need people, and I think it's something that especially in this pandemic we've seen it more than ever, and we see that. I think there's been at times a bit of unfairness from people with families and how they judge people without families or how they react to people without families in going out.
Right.
And it's one thing for me, with my wife and kids, like every night I'm home with my wife, my son, and my daughter,
Right.
as opposed to someone who's home single,
Right.
And at the end of the day, they're like, I need this,
Right.
I'm just going to sit outside and do it. And I think that's where, we've had the benefit of, people just been bundling up and sitting outside at the district.
Yeah.
And they're like, yeah, it might be 40 degrees out, but turn on the propane heater and put on another sweater. I'm still going out. There's no way I'm not going out because I need this. And I think that's going to be something that I think, food and beverage experiences that really facilitate people getting together, I think are going to be successful. But I think things like live music, and I think it's going to show itself in fashion.
I mean, that trend is definitely there of the big gathering spots, the truck yard.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
The classic is like a Lee Harvey's or something, which are these, great old places. But that's definitely the move.
Now, you said something earlier, which I thought was really neat. You showed me a poster of Jack Ruby's old place, right?
It's true.
Yeah, and that's where your place is.
Yep.
And if you don't know who Jack Ruby is, I don't want to tell you, but matter of fact, I saw him the deal that day because there's so much in history about him,
For sure.
Yeah, and it's just a neat. Is that poster framed?
It is not.
Where is
How
it?
come
That
you don't-
poster's sitting in our office.
All right.
Why don't you frame it? Why don't you? That'd be something cool to put out for history.
We should. Yeah, it was. This was Jack Ruby's Carousel Club, and it was the address. I think it was 1312 and a half Commerce Street
Yep,
because
something like that.
because it was on the second floor is why it had the half, and it was pit barbecue and burlesque.
Can you imagine what that place smelled like, or what
Yeah.
they smelled like if the pit was actually running inside the?
Those old pictures of downtown Dallas are crazy. I mean,
Yeah.
the difference of it was beautiful.
Yeah.
It was a beautiful spot. And then, I mean, it had some rough years, and now it's finally, really on the upswing.
Yeah, he did have rough years.
Yep.
But it was very elegant. I mean, it was beautiful down there.
I know it's competition, but that Thompson building, what they've done with it
Oh,
is
yeah.
just amazing.
Yeah.
From
Yeah.
what that looked like for the last 10 years, I'd drive by it and just be like, it's a ghost town to see how they redid it. And the Statler, too. I mean, both of those projects really helped downtown.
It's amazing what they've done with Bassett down to Fort Worth and what everybody's done with downtown Dallas. It's just they both needed it though because they were in dire disrepair. It was terrible.
And both of those, kind of just ties in that both of them were big historic tax credit deals.
Yeah.
So there really was part of that. That's how both of those deals came together, and just taking beautiful old buildings and being able to have the capital to preserve them as what they were.
And I'm one now because I'm not only do I love food, music, and chefs and stuff, but it's my business, and I just think that now Dallas and Fort Worth have grown together, and a lot of people see that, but then still some of the older people don't, and I don't know why, because it's now become one, because it doesn't take for me to go to Fort Worth to eat at Trinity Groves or eat down Dallas is less than 30 minutes for me.
Right.
I mean that's less than you'd spend doing a lot of other stuff. So it's just, to me, it's all become one. Especially Trinity Grove's there. It's kind of helped bring that whole area back. The whole area is just everything down there is booming.
Yeah, it is. It is. We're really, and it's really we look at properties like the Thompson, with Monarch and their offerings is really. It's not really competition. We're really creating a district. I think people really want to. Some people want to wander. They want to go and have a drink here and have dinner there, and then maybe they wander
Snacks.
somewhere else for their
We all win.
their nightcap.
We
That's
absolutely
right.
all win.
Yeah, that's right.
They want to park once or get out of that Uber once and be able to see where the night takes them. So for us, I think the more that it's the less any operations an island, and the more you have really a district and for people to go to, the better it is for all of us.
Do you think that Uber helicopter is going to be a thing? You think that's going to be popular?
How about that?
I have no idea.
They-
Whatever tax bracket that is, I'm not.
No, it's not going to. It's going to be affordable. They're making the units right now. They're producing them there.
I mean,
They've already tried. They've already had trials with them, and they're people.
Really?
Yeah.
In New York, they have it's really popular Blades, which is basically that, which takes people from Manhattan to the Hamptons. So it's either
This is going to be.
have,
This is going to be, from what I understand, like the drones. They're going to be
Yeah.
drone helicopters type deal. And the one pictures I've seen with people in them were unmanned. They were all done by computer.
Nah.
Brian will not be
I'm
in that.
out.
Yeah, you and me both. You and me both.
I'd rather take the train
Yeah.
between the two.
Yeah, or walk. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like to at least see who's in control of the ride.
Yeah.
It's like the unmanned taxi cars. I just don't. Or letting something drive itself. I can't do it. I just cannot
Yeah,
do
I
it.
think it's going to take a little while.
Yeah. Jetsons.
Yeah.
Remember that? So what else y'all have exciting coming up?
We're looking to open up the rest of the district, and we're getting everything ready for that, because it does seem, we don't have dates yet, but getting all these other food offerings up and running. We're opening up a hotel in Melbourne, Florida, in 3 weeks. The Hotel Melby. We have a 20,000 square foot rooftop and a ground floor restaurant. We are working on a
I
project.
have to check that out.
Yeah, it's a block off the water.
Can't go wrong there.
Yeah, exactly right. So we're starting to make some changes to all of our menus now at downtown Dallas. I think as things are changing, as both with the seasonality and coming out of the with a big thaw, but also in response to what people are looking for and some of the some of the changes of a less COVID influenced environment. But we're also we think the next 10 years is really going to be roaring 20s. So we really think that there's going to be a lot of carpe diem, a lot of a lot of people that are again looking to interact and looking to have fun and looking to experience things and with less concerns. And really kind of, and we think that that's going to have a big impact on leisure travel. And I think it might have an impact on fine dining, but I think you could look at it both ways.
What do you think? What do you think will stay around during some of the limitations that were put into effect for COVID for restaurants? What people think about them? What part of that do you think will still stay around?
Outdoor seating.
Yeah,
I mean, outdoor seating in Texas has always been king.
as long as you don't build a restaurant in the west towards the sun. And I mean, that's just when I see somebody do that, I'm just like, that's just death. That is pure death to your business. Because you cannot, no matter what you do, you cannot sit on a patio if it faces west. And there's
Downtown, we're pretty lucky. The buildings really help. It really moderates it, hot and cold.
But you understand what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
It needs to never be, But I think you're right about the outside dining.
Yeah, I mean, we've already seen, with a lot of the venues in Fort Worth, people would rather sit on a wooden picnic table and with some nice trees and grass around than in a nice mosaic tile indoor space with a marble countertop. You're like, well, that one would have cost you $50, whereas this build out over here, it's hard to do something that's prettier than a tree. So I think as long as you can figure out the shading, people always liked outdoor seating here, and for sure with COVID, that's 10x. That's what I go ahead.
And we also have all the open air. Like the entire food hall is almost open air, where you can open these giant louvered garage doors and that look like windows, but they all open up. I mean, I think that's going to be a huge hit once we get the whole thing open with the balcony, the open air seating, and all the chefs. That's what I'm most excited for.
Yeah, I
want to eat different food. I want to eat all these guys' food all the time. Yes.
So what are if somebody wants to look it up, what are and then we also need to tag them too, but when we do the episodes, but what is the social media handles for, is there one for the food hall and one for him, or is it under one website?
It's the Exchange.
The Exchange Hall, the second floor at the Exchange.
Yeah.
And then I think under that you can find Ichi Nissan and Ounce.
Jackson Beer Garden, Jaxon Beer Garden.
Okay.
That's a big one. Rise in Time, THYME. So those are the handles.
I can't wait to come check all that stuff out.
Yeah.
And I like Amanda, by the way. I like her personality. I like what she's done.
She's
and
great. She's great.
She works hard. I mean, she's constantly. Does she do all her social media? Do you know?
Yeah.
Because she works it hard.
And she's exactly who she is on TV.
Yeah.
That is not. She is that nice. She is that approachable. She is that authentic.
Yep.
She's a great partner.
It's good to have one of those. Those are versus a bad partner. Not good.
We've had some of those too, and we've definitely had a number of chefs that aren't who they are off camera.
The attacks,
bro.
but no, Amanda. I think that's one of the reasons that we're partners is we both. She is as advertised.
Good. Well, I really appreciate having you guys here, and I can't wait to come see your place.
Can't
wait
to host you.
I mean, I just think that'd be fantastic.
having
I'm
us.
excited about. Oh yeah, man, I enjoyed having it, and I'm just sorry I hadn't been there before, so I was kind of flying blind. So
no problem. We'll take care of you.
Yeah. Well, I really appreciate it, and everybody check us out, Trey'sChowdown.com. You get all our shows from there. Check us out on the Country Network. It's free now. You can go to the website, and the app is free. Thank y'all. See you next week, same time.